Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. In this episode of the Quick Take Free Agent Series, we're going to take a look at JuJu Smith-Schuster, unrestricted free agent from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how he would possibly fit into the Raider offense and whether we could or should sign him. JuJu came into the league in 2017 and quickly became the complement to Antonio Brown, who generally played on the outside. So JuJu's game was mainly on the inside. He can line up on the outside, but mostly on the inside. I think he does his most damage inside those numbers. He's well adapted as far as slant patterns, the seam route straight out, and those crossing routes. Very deceptive in the way he gains separation from the defenders, and he has great hands. And by the time the second season rolled around, he exploded. He had 111 total catches, 1,427 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And I think Antonio Brown saw the writing on the wall. By comparison, Antonio Brown had 168 total targets, and JuJu had 166. So he was already digging into his share. And I think that's what started Antonio Brown's little fit throw and subsequent movement through various teams. I don't want to get too much far into that. I'll get pissed off being a Raider fan. That said, JuJu's been a target hound pretty much his whole career. He has 4 seasons now under his belt. He's got a total of 443 targets. That's over 110 targets per season. Huge. So he can keep that number 1 wide receiver load. But I think as far as the Raiders are concerned, it's kind of a double-edged sword. One, that Pittsburgh generally is at or near the top of the league in pass attempts. They throw the ball a ton, whereas the Raiders are roughly middle of the road, even under that as far as their total attempts. 2, the Raiders tend to want to spread the ball out a little bit more. I know they've been focusing more on Waller. So I think JuJu could thrive in this offense on the inside, and you put Ruggs on the outside and let him use his speed, and then you use Waller for like wheel routes to the outside. I mean, I think it could be very dangerous, but I'm concerned about JuJu and what he's going to think about not getting as many targets as he did in Pittsburgh. And that kind of comes to this right here as far as his attitude. Obviously, he does his social media thing. He's big on that. But on the field and in the locker room, he's had some times where his attitude's gotten the best of him, and it's kind of backfired and kind of created some bulletin board material, especially in this past season, where he was doing his pregame dancing on the logo of the opponent's fields. And basically, Buffalo had enough of that and kind of used that as bulletin board material to, beat the Steelers that day. He didn't do so bad. I mean, he had 6 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown, but still, you don't want to give your opponents anything. And then more recently, it would be in the playoffs where he was just kind of talking down, kind of basically like the first-round opponents, Cleveland. Basically, it was like, the Browns are the Browns, kind of thing, same old Browns. And, I mean, he had a big game, 13 catches, 157, and a touchdown, but still, I think the Browns fed off of that just like the Bills did, and they ended up winning the game. So, like I said, he has the attitude, which, I mean, again, it's like a double-edged sword. You want people with attitude, especially the old Raider mentality, but you want to let your play show it instead of your mouth, and you don't want to give your opponents any incentive to whip your ass. So, and then here the Steelers jinx. I had to put that on there. As far as we traded for Martavis Bryant, that didn't really work out, and then the whole Antonio Brown saga. Again, I don't want to get into that. It just pisses me off. I'm sure Raider fans, it pisses you off too. I know he's a different guy, but still, that's going to come into play here. It's like, that's why I said it's the third time the charm here. Let's keep in mind though, I mean, he almost had 1,000 yards last year. He was battling a nagging knee injury, so it kind of slowed him down a little bit. You could tell 2020 versus the past years, he wasn't quite as quick, but still he put up pretty good numbers. And he's only 24 years old. I think we can get him for a 4-year deal. And honestly, I think, he could very well be that number one wide receiver, long-term speaking, that we've been looking for, and that, frankly, we haven't had since Tim Brown. I put our chances of signing him at fair. A couple reasons. One, I don't see him being back in the Steelers uniform next year for a couple reasons. One, they're $30 million over the cap. And two, even if they were to franchise him, that'd be another about $19 million if they did that. I don't think they basically can't afford him. Does that mean the Raiders are going to sign him? Absolutely not. He's going to come with a pretty hefty price tag. PFF estimated it at 17. I'd say 15 to 17 would probably do it. Again, though, if you think he's the man, he's going to be our next Tim Brown. That's probably worth it then, to be honest. If you're not sure, or if you think you want to give Ruggs and Edwards another year to develop, they were both rookies, obviously, then I would kind of pass on that, to be honest with you, and use that money towards the defense where we need it. So what do you think? Is JuJu the next big thing and worth that price tag? Or should we go for a little cheaper option, like, say, trying to re-sign Nelson Aguilar or another veteran wide receiver? I'd like to see your comments below. I'm interested to see what you have to say about this. If you did enjoy this video, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and continuing to promote this channel. And as always, go Raiders.